What is up, people of the internet? My name is Avery and I'm a third-year electrical engineering student at the University of British Columbia. I've also been bullet journaling for almost 5 years now, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I like to set up my bullet journal spreads for any given month. 2025 is approaching fast, and I still have one more month of spreads left to complete before my 2025 bullet journal is all ready. So let's get into it. And just as a heads up, I'm definitely not an artist by any means, and all of my spreads are made with just a couple of pens, some mod liners, a ruler, and a whole lot of correction tape. My bullet journal spreads for any given month are structured as follows. I start with a title page, followed by a habit and finance tracker, a calendar to see my month at a glance, a brain dump spread, weekly spreads where I plan the tasks and events in my week and my day, and a monthly review spread at the end to reflect on the month. Starting with my title page, I like to start with an outline around the outside of the page before drawing a smaller box in the middle. This smaller box is where I like to outline the month number in block letters. Once this middle part is done, I then start to draw in my diagonal stripe lines. It's not necessarily the most aesthetic design choice for a title page, but it does help to get the color theme for the month across very well. Speaking of, I really like to have color themes for each month represented by 2 mod liner colors. And it kind of just depends on what I think of when I think of that specific month. For example, for my December spreads, I generally think of Christmas and candy canes, which brings to mind red and green. As another example, for my March spreads, I generally think of St. Patrick's Day and spring, so naturally a lighter green comes to mind. And it generally works out at the end, as I have 25 mile liners and I use 2 different mile liners for each of the 12 months. With my title page done, it's time to move on to my habits and finances tracker on the next page. I always put a short quote on the top of the page that I never end up reading, but it's just nice to have up there. For my habit tracker, I like to track 7 habits per month, and I structure the tracker as a bunch of empty boxes that I fill in with my mile liners as I complete them each day. The habits that I track can vary from month to month, but it generally consists of things like reading, doing some push-ups, meeting my 7-hour sleep goal, and making sure that I get enough fruits and veggies into my diet. Also, it's just really satisfying to fill in these boxes as I go through the month. Right below that is my finances tracker, which is pretty much just an income table and an expenses table. I know that most bank accounts will already do this for you, but I still like to write out what I'm earning and spending each month. first two pages done, now on to the calendar spread next, where I pretty much just draw what a calendar looks like for the month. With a 5-row month like December 2025, I've found that 6 dots horizontally and 7 dots vertically for each day makes good use of the space at hand. This spread mostly serves as an at-a-glance look of the month, where I note down important events like exams, appointments, holidays, or other special occasions. Once the outline of the calendar is all drawn out and the days of the week are written at the top, I like to put in a short mile liner stroke on the top left corner of each box so that I can write the numerical day of the month in it, just to help it stand out a bit more and so that it doesn't end up smudging if I did it the other way around. The last thing I include in my calendar spread on the right side are 2 lists. Things that I need to get done before the end of the month, and the videos that I'm going to make that month as well. It just gives me a place to write these down as they're a little too unstructured to schedule for any given day or week. Calendar spread is done, let's move on to the brain dump spread now, which is pretty self-explanatory in of itself. It's a place for me to dump all of the thoughts that are swirling inside my head. In most cases, it just ends up being either a really long journal entry or a really long rant about something that's going on in my life. The way I like to structure the titles in my bullet journal is by using my mile liners to write and draw out a title before going over it with a black pen. It's definitely not as aesthetically pleasing as some other headers that use brush pens and a lot of calligraphy, but I find that it works well for me. Now on to my weekly spreads. For the sake of not boring you over seeing the same process 4 to 5 times, here's how I make a single weekly spread in my bullet journal. I start by making a miniature calendar on the top left of the page using my mile liner to highlight the specific week. Just ignore the off-center December at the top of the mini calendar, as I had a slight lapse in my spacing judgment there. For the heading of the week, I use the same mile liner pen lettering as in the brain dump spread, and I have a box underneath to put another random quote that I'm probably not going to read again, but I also just didn't know what else to do with that space. For each day of the week, I draw equally sized boxes with my mile liners and with alternating colors for each day. I also draw 2 additional boxes on the top of the right page that I use to write down my priorities of the week and some notes for myself. Once I label the date and day of the week for each of the boxes, including the last box where I write down things that I'm grateful for, I enclose each of them with a banner style heading. It just adds a little bit more style to them, and they're not too hard to draw for a non-artist like me. pretty much how I design my weekly spreads. On each of the days, I will write down any important events, tasks that I need to get done, or thoughts that I may need to record. And skipping over to the last spread of the month, we have my monthly review spread. This spread is just a short way for me to reflect on what went well this month, what I could learn from, and other events that happened during the month. I use a lot of the same techniques that I've been using in my other spreads for this spread, so it's just a matter of drawing in some boxes and filling in these section headers. Speaking of, the specific prompts that I use for this spread are the following: a short summary of the month at the top, what I was most grateful for, the difficulties that I encountered that month, the books that I read that month, lessons learned, some successes of the month, some notable geopolitical events, and rating the month on a scale of 1 to 10. That's pretty much how I plan my spreads in my bullet journal. And for those of you who are wondering about how I found all the time to get this done, all I will say is that when you're recovering from surgery, you tend to have a lot more time on your hands. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. This is definitely a slightly different video than I'm used to, but I just wanted to share a more pragmatic approach to bullet journaling that doesn't involve calligraphy, washi tape, or extremely elaborate illustrations. As always, gently tap the like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell to notify whenever I release a new video. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.